What is this garbage you're watching? I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of that Gang Stalking Show. My name is Doug, and I'm a former TI. Today's talking points is going to be about directed conversation. What is directed conversation? How you should deal with it when it happens to you, how you can counter it, and if possible, I'm going to tell you a really interesting story about directed conversation when it happened to me in 2007. At the time, I didn't know that that's the term for when stalkers get around you, or they're really not stalkers. These were people that I worked with. They were just part of my antagonism. They agreed to take part in it. Why? I don't know. Well, I probably do know. I was a pretty tough boss. I wouldn't say I was tough, really. To tell you the truth, all I expected them to do was their job, and that's it. But typically, when you're in a nursing home, and the people that work there, including a lot of nurses, the people are there just for this. They're not there to help people. They're not there because they care. They're there because in a nursing home, generally, nobody cares from the top all the way down to the bottom. And so when it's so much apathy runs amok like that, people just have an attitude like, I don't give a crap. I don't care. I don't care about that old man laying in his bed and laying in a wad of dookie and pee, and that's the truth. So I know why they participated in it, because I asked them to do their job. But moving on, I'm going to read you an excerpt of what directed conversation, the definition of it is. Okay, let's see here. Directed conversation is a term referring to a stalking tactic using strangers' conversation to both intimidate and convey to the victim that they are under surveillance. During directed conversation, two or more stalkers will approach near to the targeted individual and engage in conversation with one another. The conversation is purposely made at a level so that the victim can adequately hear what is being said. During directed conversation, personal information concerning the victim is used in the speech and emphasized by the stalkers in a fashion that most non-victims would not be able to discern as harassment. The purpose of directed conversation is to harass a victim, as well as make the victim appear mentally unstable should they attempt to complain about such abuse. I guess I kind of agree with that. In my case, the directed conversation mainly took the form of when I was a charge nurse at a nursing home. And at this place, it happened on a nightly basis. I charged a nursing home from 7P to 7A in 2007. I had typically 3 nursing aides that worked with me on my shift. And this would typically start up at about midnight. Since around midnight, it's slow, hardly anybody's on the call lights. All you got to do is sit around for 2 hours, wait for the call lights to go off, and if it goes off, go assist somebody. And other than that, every 2 hours you make your rounds and check to see if the residents have soiled themselves or if they need any assistance. And once that takes place, you go back to where you were, sitting in the middle of the foyer in front of my desk, which is about 10 or 15 feet away. And typically what the nursing assistants would do would just either sit in their chair and halfway doze off, maybe read a newspaper or read a magazine. And back then, cell phone technology was not as good as what it is today. So you couldn't get on the internet and, Google. You couldn't Facebook back in those days. But you could read text messages if they were sent to you. When this began in 2007, what would happen, I would notice around, anytime the nursing assistants get up or they shift around, they move around, they start talking, they're close enough for me to hear it, and I may look up and go and just see what's going on and go back to documenting. Because I've got the chart on 45 people throughout the night. on top of that, do procedures and pass out medication. So what would happen is they would start. In the beginning, I was oblivious to it because I wasn't focused on it. And I'm going to tell you how to deal with this, the best way to deal with this, in a little bit. But when they first started, I was oblivious to it. I was just charting all the time, and I'm sure they were reading text messages and trying to let me know that they're inserting things about my life that only I should know. And but I was missing out on it. But there was one particular time where I really picked up on the conversation that was taking place. And I've told this in bits and pieces in previous videos, but I'm going to go ahead and tell the whole thing this time if I got time. So around 12 o'clock, I started noticing people looking at their cell phones. And then one at a time, one nursing assistant would read something, and then the next person would read something, and then the next person would read something. And they would read it out loud, like, Walmart's going to kill him. Nursing assistant number 2. Yeah, Walmart's going to tattoo a bullet wound in one side of his head and tattoo an exit wound on the other side of the head. Nursing assistant 3, it's your cue. Yeah, well, after Walmart kills him, he's going to feed him to alligators to dispose of his body. And at this particular time, I asked them, like, what are y'all talking about? Who's this Walmart person? Then they started gaslighting me, saying, what are you talking about, Doug? I'm like, every night I hear you people talking this crap about this Walmart character, and Walmart's always going after this guy with no name, and you just call him him. These are crazy discussions that you're having. I can see you're reading from your cell phone. What is the point of this? This one dude named Gary looked up at me and goes, Doug, we don't know what you're talking about. We just been sitting here quietly. I go, way to go, Gary. So this was also during a very stressful time in my life. I was being harassed in other ways, and really didn't know how to deal with this at the time. And at the time, I didn't know that this was gang stalking. All I knew is that my life suddenly flipped 180 degrees, and I was on top of my head trying to figure out what's going on. Because so much is going on in my life. People are following me to the grocery store. People are following me to Walmart. So that is directed conversation. The conversation was held in order for me to hear what's going on. Now, in that one particular case, my private information was not shared. But here's one scenario that took place. It's probably the night before this or the night after this. It was around the same time. About 12 o'clock again the next night. Nurse aide 1. Oh, he's a fucking pedophile. Number 2. Your cue. Walmart's going to kill him. Walmart is going to fucking kill him. Number 3, nursing aide. Walmart's going to feed him in one of those tree shredders. You know, you put wood into the shredder and it spits all the woods out in wood chips. And I was like, okay, I got a feeling that they're trying to insinuate that I am that him person that Walmart is going to kill. And I've been feeling like this for a while. And then they went on to start talking about a 14-year-old girl. I'm not going to go one person to the next and say what they said, but in a nutshell, they started talking about a 14-year-old girl, and they started talking about a girl that lived across the street from an elementary school. Now, here is the story that opened up a wealth of information for me. But I didn't fully realize it at that time. I was being profiled. So here's what happened. They talked about that pedophile, and then talk about the 14-year-old girl, and then some other girl that lived across the street from elementary school. Here's what happened. Just the day before or 2 days before, I just moved into a new apartment. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a TV. I didn't have internet. I didn't have anything. Not even radio or anything to listen to. No radio, nothing. So I'm like, damn, only thing I can do is go to the library and read library books. And I'm tired of reading. It's my day off. So I said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make a list of all the women I slept with. I've never done this before. And I thought, what the hell? It might cheer you up and it'll kill an hour or two, at least, kill the boredom. So I sat down and I made a list of all the women that I slept with. Then also included women that I could have slept with, but I didn't sleep with. And then also included just nice women that I knew throughout my life who were friends with me. I was trying to cheer myself up. Not only trying to cheer myself up, but figure out how many women approximately I slept with. In doing so, I couldn't remember everybody's name. And so I'd go, the girl in Daytona Beach, the girl in Houston, the girl in LaPorte, the girl in East Texas, the girl at the club here, blah, 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 blah. And then there were two names or two instances on the sheet of notebook paper that could have looked suspect. One was Wendy, 14 years old. Didn't sleep with her. Another was the girl that lived across the street from the elementary school. And I did sleep with her. But here's the deal. After I tallied up all the results and killed an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, I took that piece of paper and I threw it in the trash. Well, guess what? I just told you that directed conversation previously. They were like, he's a pedophile. Walmart's going to kill him. Walmart's going to throw him in a tree shredder. They started talking about a 14-year-old girl, and they started talking about the elementary school and another girl. And I go, oh, fuck. I threw that note away in the trash the other day. Somebody dug that note out of the trash, and they created a script where they could insert contents from that letter. They totally took everything out of context. Wendy, who was 14 years old, I'll explain this. I was playing in a band in 1981 or 82. Alto, Texas. My bandmates were still in high school, and I was working a full-time job at a state hospital at that time. I had a rotating shift. 1 week I'd work 2 to 10. The next week I'd work 6 to 2. On the week that I worked 6 to 2, I'd get off from work. I would go to Alto, and I'd wait for my bandmates to arrive from school to the drummer's house, and we would rehearse, we would practice. And pretty much every time we practiced, school kids would come and listen to it. On the weekends, when we got to go to the play, we would have alcohol. Now, the drinking age back then was 18. Wendy was a 14-year-old girl who was very petite. I think she was like 4'10", maybe 4'11". She was beautiful, but she was a young 14-year-old girl. She came by a couple times to listen to us. I didn't think anything of it. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Well, lo and behold, one night she came when we was partying and we were practicing. And she snuck out of her mom's home and she came to the house. She obviously came through the kitchen of the house. It's a 2-story house. Came through the kitchen where all the girls were hanging out, and they gave her some alcohol. She got drunk. She got tipsy, whatever you want to call it. She came in to where we were practicing, and she started making eyes at me, those googly eyes and whatnot. I'm like, oh, God, what's Wendy? What's going on in her head? Next thing I know, we finished playing the song. She's like, oh, Doug, you're going to be my first lover. She comes over. She grabs me on my ass and all this, and I just looked at everybody. I said, that's it. Let's take a break. Everybody was half buzzed out of their mind, and there were guys yelling, Doug, go for it, man. Tap it, hit it, whatever. And I was really pissed off at that. So I grabbed Wendy by the hand, and I took her to the bathroom. And I know a lot of people think when you go to the bathroom with another girl, you're going to have sex or to make out or whatever. No, I went into the bathroom with Wendy to tell her this is not happening. She's like, you're going to be my first lover. I have a crush on you. Come on, let's go have sex. And I'm like, no. How old are you, Wendy? 14? I'm like 19. It ain't going to happen. said, I'm going to take you home. You're not going to come back here again when we're partying and drinking, because we can go to jail for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And on top of that, the county liquor patrol board officer lived just right across the street, and he had came to this very house on 2 different occasions to check to see if we had alcohol and minors in possession. So I take Wendy back home, and on the way there, I'm like, Wendy, it's no big deal. Don't beat yourself up over it. I'm not, coming down hard on you. I'm just like, I can't do this. It's not right. It wouldn't be right for me to have sex with you, no matter how bad you want to have it. It's not only not right, it's illegal. It's against the law. I said, when you're 18 years old, come look me up, and, I'm only like 4 or 5 years older than you. And at that time, the age difference will not be that big of a deal. But I said, probably when you get 18, you're going to be such a hottie that you're not even going to want to give me the time of day. Lo and behold, Wendy never came back. Wendy ended up moving from Alto, Texas to Houston, Texas. She ended up starting a modeling career for herself. And here's some weird, strange coincidence that happened with Wendy. This was like 1981. Fast forward to 1987. It's Christmas. I get a Christmas present from my brother. It's a calendar. I don't have the calendar anymore. It's called a KLOL rock and roll calendar. For those TIs that are around the Houston area and that's old enough to remember it, KLOL was a rock and roll station. Every year they put out a rock and roll calendar. So I got a calendar for Christmas 1987. And I'm thumbing through it. And it's not nude women. It's just scantily clad women. Miss December, lo and behold, I'm like, she looks familiar. My brother's standing over this shoulder and my cousin standing over that shoulder. I'm like, Doug, that's Wendy. That's Munchkin. And I go, my God, you're right. Well, typically what happens, it's not typically, this happens every Christmas. People come in to visit their parents. And the younger people go out and they hook up with their old friends and they go out drinking and whatnot, partying. I ran into Wendy later that night. She was with a group of girls riding around the car, and she saw me in my truck. She said, oh, there's Doug. She's like, pull over. So she jumps in my truck, and we ride around, we sip on some beer. We end up at her mother's house a couple hours later, like maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. And go in there and I talk to Wendy, and, we'd been talking about, a lot of different things, and time just flew by. And I asked her, I go, hey, Wendy, you remember that? Back to the jam house, and, you want to jump my bones and all that. She goes, yeah, I remember that. I go, well, remember that conversation? I said, when you get 18 or whatever, come look me up. She goes, I remember that. And I said, well, so what's up with that? She goes, you were right. I got guys just fawning all over me. I got a boyfriend right now. She was 19 at the time. And on top of that, she made a calendar, which is probably, they made 1 million of them. And a lot of people in Texas had that calendar. And that's the story of Wendy. Nothing never happened. I never had sex with her, not as a 14-year-old or as a 19-year-old. So, but they took that, I couldn't remember Wendy's full name, so the only way that I could differentiate this Wendy from other Wendy's was right, Wendy, 14 years old. Okay, another piece of that note that was inserted into this directed conversation was the girl that lived across the street from the elementary school. Now, if you're looking at a note that has a list of all the women you slept with, and there's a girl that lives across the street from the elementary school, you could either look at that like, yeah, there's an older girl that lived across the street from the elementary school, and he slept with her. Or it was a young girl who lived across the street from the elementary school. And you could take it out of context. What it was is this around the same time, around 1981. We rode around this little town called Rusk. Back in the 70s and 80s and all that, people used to ride their local strips here in Texas. I'm sure it happens used to happen everywhere in America. When I would ride down this road, and there's elementary school on this side, there's a little house over here. There was this younger girl. She was like She was a couple years older than Wendy. She was probably 16. She was out, outside of her house, and she was always doing like cheerleader stuff and all that. I could just tell she was just too young. But she would always wave, and I'd wave back. Never pulled over, never talked to her. Well, fast forward to about 1992 or 93. At least a good decade later, I ran into that girl again. I ran into her at a club that I used to DJ at. And we hooked up, and we went back to her place. So, yeah, I did have sex with her. But I couldn't remember her name, so what I jotted down on that note was the girl that lived across the street from elementary school. Now, lo and behold, this directed conversation's being used on me, and they're talking about Wendy, a 14-year-old girl, and they're talking about the girl that lives across the street from elementary school. And I go, I can't believe this shit. They dug that note out of my trash can. Somebody's been digging through my trash constantly on a daily basis, digging through my trash and trying to examine my life. If you ever watch my video, how a targeted individual is profiled, that is how I figured it out. Then once I started figuring out they started digging through your trash, I'm like, why do they do that? They do it to profile you. They also do it so they can find tidbits of information that they can insert into these directed conversations. Any bit of personal information they can get on you without your consent and then turn around and talk about that information in front of you makes them appear like they have these super investigative powers. Typically what they'll do is dig through your trash to find things to insert into directed conversation, or they will hack your phone, hack your computer, hack your work computer. They may do some type of background check on you online. Dig up your credit history. They may dig up your criminal history. Anything, so they can just find those nuggets of information that only you should know about. Then they'll have this conversation in front of you. Typically, the conversation, in most cases, it always involved receiving a text message and two or more people reading from that within your earshot. Now, on other instances of directed conversation, which were conversations that were like this, but they were not read from a script sent through a text phone. It was actually a person who memorized basically what he was supposed to regurgitate in front of me. And this happened over the period of about a year and a half. I heard this same line pitched in front of me at least 3 different times from 3 different people. And this pitch was, I was painting a curb. I paint those numbers that go on a curb. I call them curb markers. I heard a guy pull up. He pulls up and he's talking to the guy who is who owns the house for whom I'm painting his curb. And he's like, yeah, Walmart is going to, and both these guys are Hispanic. It's like, Walmart's going to kidnap that guy over there, man. He's going to take him to an abandoned warehouse and torture him and call his friends and family over. And they're all going to watch Walmart kill him. And then he's going to videotape it, but he's going to torture him too. Well, no, fast forward, put it in rewind about a year before that. I was at a facility, and I heard these 2 guys having a conversation. It was the same thing. Walmart is going to kidnap him, torture him, and then kill him. The same thing. This was directed conversation. And the thing about it is people take these directed conversations too literally. They always are saying, these people are going to kill me. They're going to kill me. They told me they're going to kill me. I'm going to tell you this. I have been threatened to my face. They are going to kill you. I had a lady tell me that one time. I was walking by a laundromat. This was not directed conversation. She was telling me to my face, they're going to kill you. On other instances, I get through these directed conversations that Walmart is going to kill him, but the innuendo there, the spin on this is that I am him. The veiled threat is always through an innuendo, and the intent is death and torture. And I've heard this day in and day out, day in and day out. And a lot of people have this, theory that you're going to get killed. They're going to kill you. Gang stalking kills you. Gang stalking does not kill you, nor does gang stalkers. Targeted individuals end up killing themselves. They end up committing suicide because they get this notion that they are going to kill me, so why don't I kill myself and save myself, torture or, the fear of dying all the time. If I just go ahead and go out my way, that would be the best way to go. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's not the best way to go. They will never, ever, ever kill you. Nobody will ever kill you. They will insinuate you're going to get killed. Look at my time. Through these directed conversations and other nonverbal stuff, the insinuation is there. They want you to commit suicide or possibly go on a shooting rampage and kill others and get shot by a cop or end up in jail or in a mental institution. But they will never, ever touch you. Looks like I'm about to run out of time. I've got a bad cotton mouth. I don't know what's going on. But here's how to deal with it. If it's happening at work like it happened in my workplace, what I should have done back in those days is got one of these hidden camera recorders. It's got audio and video in it. And it looks like maybe a portable radio. You set it on your desk, or you can even get them to look like, these speakers, and just point that camera towards them and point the audio towards them. And while they're having the conversation about you, record it if you can do it. I don't suggest that if someone's having a directed conversation in front of you, don't pull out your can't do this, because they're going to stop. If you cannot capture it on video or audio, the best thing is to leave. Get out of their earshot, because that frustrates them and they don't know what to do because they're not the ones who planned this. The planner, the handler, is the one that planned it, not them. They were assigned the task to carry it out. And so what they're trying to do is get you to hear it. But if you keep walking off, they have to keep walking up close to you. They have to commit. Perhaps they will even overcommit. And they've done that to me because I'm hard of hearing. And they know that I'm hard of hearing because I told this person at this facility I was at, I'm like, dude, I'm hard of hearing. What'd you say? And so they were always like, yeah, Walmart's going to take him to an abandoned warehouse after he kidnaps him. Instead of Walmart's going to, you see what I'm saying? They had to broadcast it. They had to overcommit. That's what you want. And so if they start doing that, and there's a chance you can record it somehow or another, do it. But if not, I really suggest if you can't get any information, just take note of the time, the date, the place, what the suspects look like, the perpetrators look like, what they were wearing, and then document it. And then on top of that, just get away from them. Because if you get away from them, they can't throw that spiel on you. They can't lay you with the burden of, we're going to kill you, you're going to die somehow or another. And so you just frustrated somebody's operation. You just blew their operation up. And if you can do that, that frustrates them. Because what they're trying to do is frustrate you and intimidate you and to scare you and to put you in a heightened state of paranoia and vigilance, hypervigilance. But once you get aware of these tactics, you can just brush it off. It's not a big deal. I just want you to know what directed conversation is, how you should deal with it. And I just wanted to tell you that story of Wendy, the 14-year-old girl, and the girl from lived across the street from the elementary school. It's a long time ago. And basically, like I said, I wrote down on a sheet of paper the names of these girls that I slept with, the names of the girls I didn't sleep with, women that I could have slept with that I didn't, the whole 9 yards. And I took the piece of paper, threw it in the trash, and then that's it. I'm going to show you what I did as a result of that. I invested money in this. Get one of these. Because I promise you, if you're a TI, people are going through your trash. You need a cross-cut shredder. Don't wad up and throw away your passwords or old passwords into your trash and stuff like that. Shred that stuff. But don't get a straight line shredder, get a cross-cut. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. Please like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you the next time around. Good night.